Hi guys, welcome back to the channel. If you're new, you're welcome. My name is Victoria and in today's video we'll be making a cowl neck top. So for this particular tutorial, I'll be using a knit bodice block, and I'm using this because I don't want a zipper at the back of this top. This is similar to the basic bodice block except for a few changes around the neck and shoulder line. And I'll be sharing a detailed tutorial on how to draft this in my next video. So here's my pattern and this is for the front, and the first thing I'm going to be doing is to increase the neck width to 4 inches. So originally this is a 3x3 neckline, so I'm just going to take in 1 inch away from the shoulder slope, bringing the neck width to 4 inches, and then I'll be taking half an inch from the center front, bringing the neck depth to 3.5 inches. I'll go ahead and connect the 2 points together and then cut out the new neckline. After that, I'm going to measure around this new neckline and then find the midpoint. So I'm just going in with my tape, and I had about 7 inches, which brings the midpoint to 3.5 inches. So I'll go ahead and mark that point, and then I'll move over to the bust line to mark half of my bust span measurement from the center front. So for me, that's 4 inches, which is what I'm marking right now. Next, I'll be connecting these two new points together using my ruler like so. And then I'm going to slash that line open until I reach the bust line. Once I'm there, I'll be facing my scissors towards the armhole and continue slashing. But I won't be cutting all the way, I'll be stopping just before the end so I can spread it out. Okay, so now I'm going to be bringing in a new pattern paper that I'll be using to spread. I'm just aligning the center front to match the edge of the pattern paper, and then I'll go on to secure the neckline and the bust line with my tape. And once that's done, I'll go on to start spreading it. Now, I don't want a full cowl neck, I just want a soft strip at the front. So I won't be spreading this by a lot. I'll be using 3.5 inches for the cowl neck. But if you prefer a fuller cowl neck, then you can do 4.5 to 6 inches. So like I said, I'm going for 3.5 inches, so I'm just going to mark that point. And then I'll go on to tape it down and tape the rest of the pattern paper so everything stays in place. So the neckline has now been extended by this much, and that's what will create the cowl neck. Now I'll be connecting the tip of the shoulder slope to the edge of the pattern paper in a straight line. And after that, I'll go on to trace the facing for this front pattern. So I should be using a tracing paper, but I don't have one, which is why I'm doing what I'm doing. I'm just trying to follow the lines so I can create the facing. Once I'm done, I'm going to cut out the excess, and this is what it looks like. So this is a facing pattern for the front. Now I'm going to flip it over to the other side like so. And then I'm going to trace around this so I can just cut this pattern as one piece. So I'm just marking the points, and then I'm going to draw out all the lines. So this is a part that will fall inside the neckline. So now that I'm done with all that, it's time to cut out my front pattern. So the pattern has no allowance, which means I'm going to be adding allowance when cutting onto fabric. Also, this stops just at the waistline, which is 16 inches, and I want my top to be 21 inches. So I'm going to be extending it downwards by extra 5 inches. So that's it for the front. Let's move over to the back. Now for the back, there's not much to do here. All I have to do is extend the neck width like I did for the front. So I went in by 1 inch along the shoulder slope, and I'm going to cut out the new neckline. I'll also be adding 5 inches from the waistline when cutting. Now for this knit bodice block, the stretch of the fabric should be running across from side to side. So I'm just indicating that so I remember when cutting it. Now this is the fabric I'll be using for the cowl neck top. I have 1.5 yards. It's a thick, stretchy fabric, and my favorite thing about it is that it has some shine to it. It's very important to consider the stretch of the fabric if you'll be using this pattern to recreate yours. Now because I want this cowl neck top to just fall and sit perfectly on me, I'm going to be cutting fabric on a bias like so. This is just going to add some stretch along the center front as well. So I've placed my fabric and pinned everything down. Now I'm just going to start cutting. Like I said, this pattern had no allowance, so I gave about half an inch allowance along the shoulder, the armhole, and then 1 inch allowance along the side. I also went down by 5 inches from the waistline. I should have gone by 6 inches so I can use the extra 1 inch for hemming, but I didn't have a lot of fabric to work with. For the back, I also gave half an inch allowance along the shoulder line and armhole, and then 1 inch allowance along the side. And of course, I extended the fabric from the waistline as well. I also cut out facing that I'll be using to turn the back neckline. And now it's time to start stitching. And I'll begin with the back piece. I'll just go on to take out the pins from the facing and the main fabric. Then I'm going to be turning the fabric towards the right side and then place the facing on top of it, right sides facing each other. And then I'll take it to the machine and stitch on a 1/2 inch sewing allowance along the neckline. So I'm just going to stitch along the neckline, flip it over and make a top stitch on the facing. Okay, so I'm done with that, and here's what it looks like. I'm just going to set this aside and bring in the front piece. Now with the way the front piece was cut, I already know where the shoulder line starts from. So I'm just arranging the neckline before bringing in the back piece to place on top of this, right sides facing each other like so. So I'm going to be stitching along the shoulder slope, and because I have a facing for both the front and the back, I'm just going to open it up like this, and then I'll stitch the shoulder slope to shoulder slope and facing to facing. When I'm done with that, I'll be finishing the armhole by folding it inwards twice. So I'll fold it in once by 1/4 of an inch and then fold it in again by 1/4 of an inch. Then I'll stitch along the sides by 1/2 an inch on both sides, and then I'll finish off the hemline by folding it inwards twice using 1/2 inch sewing allowance as well. So you can see that the stitching process of this cowl neck top is very straightforward. You don't have to deal with buttons, you don't have to deal with zippers. It's very easy. Once I took this to the machine, I just had to run everything at once and that was it. So guys, I'm all done and here's what we have. This is the final look. So yeah, we've come to the end of the tutorial. I hope you found this video helpful. Please leave a like if you do, and don't forget to subscribe to the channel if you haven't done that yet. Thank you so much for watching, and I'll be seeing you in my next video.